Okay, we're ready for round 2 now. As far as the repairs go, I actually didn't do that much. I just put a new spar in here. Actually, I put the half of the piece that was broken because it didn't really need to be as long as it was. And I'm not even sure if I really need that 8mm spar right through the middle anyway. I'd probably get away without it. But probably far more importantly is the CG change, and I put a little marking under here to see what I was doing, and I didn't even do this before. I just sort of eyeballed it, and obviously that was a stupid idea, and I won't be doing that again. But now I've got it to where it is about 25 to 26% of the wing chord there, and in order to do that, at least with the Runcam 2 on the back, I needed to do this. So that's the Runcam 3 there, and also another bunch of lead on the front of it there. Now if I don't have the Runcam 2 on the back, and before I painted the tail, I didn't need to do this, it was pretty much okay, but anyway, hopefully that was the main problem that I was having, and I'm interested to see how it will perform like this then. And this is the new setup that I've got. So the tail is just the same, but the ailerons are now only ailerons on the tip, and they don't go down, they only go up. As you can see, I've still got the Elevon mix in the tail, but I don't think that's really going to cause any problems. And the flaps are only flaps, and I'm only going to use them to half weight. The reason is that if I put them fully down, then this one here will kind of bend the flap as it tries to pull it back up again, so I can't really do that. And obviously at no point are the flaps being controlled by ailerons, so they're just completely separate. Are we happy with that? I hope everybody's happy with that. And I also taped up this landing gear with a bunch of sellotape so that it just kind of doesn't move, it's in the straight position only. Oh, and speaking of landing gear, there actually was a little bit of damage on these. They held up pretty well, but you can see there maybe there's a bit of delamination around that bracket piece there. Not much. And on the other side, about the same amount. So it doesn't seem to affect anything, like they feel exactly the same as they did before. Although, of course, you wouldn't want to be doing that too often, I expect.
Okay, new rules. No gliding, no autopilot, and no flying right above the ground here at like 5 meters above. Unfortunately, that means you're not going to be able to get a very good look at it from my hat cam because there's no zoom, but you'll just have to make do with the onboard footage. Actually, I think I might try the autopilot a little bit at some point, but not much, and not until I've got a good feel for what it's doing beforehand. Once again, the conditions are not that great. I would rather be doing this another time actually, but when I looked at the weather forecast, this is probably the best I'm going to get for the next week or so. So I'll just give it a try. Unfortunately, the wind is coming directly from the building again like this, so I can really only do a sort of a crosswind takeoff like this. Oh, roll is not very effective, but then again, I am now using Expo. I moved the landing gear forward a little bit too, just to help with the CG position. So the roll there was a little bit different to what I had last time. Seems much more stable now though, at least. Let's see if we can climb a bit. Doesn't feel like it needs much trim, but every now and then, I don't have much roll authority, eh? I mean, I have enough, I think. But it just feels like we could use a bit more. Okay, let go of the stick, it wants to go down a bit. It's probably good, I guess. Alright, well it's feeling a lot more comfortable than it was last time. Whoa! Except for that occasional anemic roll response. Also seems much quieter than before too. Last time I had the Runcam 3 right in front of the prop, and maybe that was what was causing the strange noise that I was hearing. I thought it was the prop, maybe it was the fact that the prop wasn't pulling in perfectly clean air. It was a little bit of turbulence behind the camera, but now it sounds really smooth. And it's probably about 55% throttle here. Feeling pretty comfortable. Seems to be climbing a little bit. Whoops. Oh, it's windy here, eh, behind this hill. Oh, shit. Yeah, I can't make much headway there into the wind. Let's turn around. Last time when I checked the battery, it had 3.9 volts per cell left, so I should be able to get a good... that was like a 4.5 minute flight, I think, so I should be able to get a good 15 minutes, I think, before I have to worry about battery. Well, that turn felt pretty good. Should we try the autopilot? Okay, this is auto level. Yeah, I'll see if I can climb a bit like this. I'm just a little worried about the height there. Okay, straighten up. That looks alright. Oh, it's feeling much better now. Okay, straighten up, please. Oh, it doesn't want to straighten up, yeah. I think I might have to revert the ailerons back to deflecting downwards on the side that you're turning away from. Right, back to manual mode. Whoa. Yeah, it seems like it has a tendency to want to wander away from level fairly easily with this roll, like with the ailerons the way I've got them. I mean, you can correct it, but it seems like the correction doesn't kick in until much later than if you have both ailerons moving. I guess it makes sense, but I kind of don't like it much. And it seemed like the autopilot was having trouble with it too. Mind you, the autopilot at the moment is set up for the Nano Talon that I had it on. It's all the PIDs for that, so maybe I should do an auto tune while I'm doing this test flight as well. Let's do that. I'll get a little bit higher and then I'll do some auto tune. Pitch up. Pitch up. Yeah, these PIDs were pretty bad. That wouldn't have helped in my last flight too, now that I think about it. Man, I'm not too excited about landing this. How am I gonna do that in this wind? I might have to land it straight into this building, eh? Like, with not much room to spare. Okay, back to manual mode. Yeah, I'm not liking this roll authority. Feels pretty slack. Alright, shall we try some flaps? We'll just bump the throttle up a bit and turn around here. Alright, 1 flaps. Doesn't really feel like it made too much difference. I'll just fly like this for a while. Alright, let's try a little bit lower pass here maybe. Oh shit. Hey, I wasn't trying to go over there. See, most of this roll movement that you're seeing, I'm not really trying to do that. Oh, it's slowing down. Oh, this is directly into the wind here. See, that's not too bad for doing a landing with, but trouble is, got this big building there and I don't really have much room. And there could be turbulence behind the building as well, maybe. Either way, I'm going to have to land at some point. Oh shit, the battery alarm's calling me. So this is going to be a landing. Don't worry, I'm keeping the power on. Mostly. Oh, come on. That battery's gonna die, eh? Okay, this time I'll use the rudder. What a terrible piece of crap landing that was. I wasn't expecting the battery to die so quickly. It was a much nicer landing than last time though, and I don't think I've damaged anything at all. That pulled out, but it wasn't really, it wasn't fixed in there, it was just friction fit, so that's kind of expected. But yeah, it was bloody difficult to handle on the landing, and coming up at this hill like that probably wouldn't have helped, and the battery might have been sagging a bit as it was approaching as well, so that wouldn't help. I didn't have very good control with these single direction ailerons. I think I'm going to have to make them go down as well. Pitch control felt alright. Rudder was okay, but the first approach I just forgot to use it because I'm not used to doing this much. Yeah, so I think in a bit more of a friendly environment than this, it would have done just fine, and with a different pilot as well maybe.
So here are the cell voltages for that battery after what felt like barely 12 minutes or so of flying. I'll check how long it was on the video, and I'll put that on the screen here so we can see that. But yeah, I'm not too impressed with that. I thought I'd get a lot more from this battery. This is a 4S 5 amp hour battery, Turnigy whatever, just the plain old normal Turnigy ones. It also charged quite a lot quicker than I thought it would, so maybe it's having some problems there. But anyway, yeah, 12 minutes is not really that great. But despite the incredibly clumsy landing, there seems to be no damage apart from just this little bit of the landing gear here. Seems to have delaminated a little bit more. Just from memory, I don't think it was that bad last time I looked at it before the flight, so perhaps this leg took another thump upwards like that. But still seems to be perfectly fine, and the camera that was stuck on the front took a hit too, but that seems to be okay as well. By the way, at the end there when I was landing, I know that you do need to keep quite a bit of power on the motor when you've got the flaps down and you're trying to land like that. But I was just trying to find a compromise between that and not totally ruining the battery. So it was a bit of a panic landing there. I wasn't really expecting to have to do that. And in that, slope coming up there and the wind and the building, and I'm not really good at this thing to begin with. So all in all, I'm finding that this plane, it's not really that much fun to fly. And I know fun is a bit vague, but compared to something like Home Slice 1 and Home Slice 4 and planes like the C1 Chaser and also the Mini Talon sometimes as well, they're just quite a lot of fun, and this one just doesn't seem to have it, and Big Red didn't have it either. Yeah, I don't know, maybe a few more tuning changes and it'll come right. In particular, I don't think I like the way these ailerons only going one way gave me such weak roll control, or such odd roll control. It just seemed to suddenly kick in at some points and then other times it wouldn't. So I think I'll just make it so that they do go down a little bit on the downstroke as well. The tail wheels seem to work out okay like that, being fixed straight, but having said that, I also slammed the throttle to full throttle as quick as I could to try and get the tail up so that it wouldn't be an issue either way. And with the CG change, it lifted off the ground much nicer. I think, looking at the video, you probably wouldn't be able to tell much difference, but for me controlling it, it felt a lot more like it just did it the way that I wanted it to do, instead of just sort of coming off the ground whenever it felt like it. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this, but I moved the wheels quite a bit further forward. So before they were almost in line with the front of the wing, now they're a good, probably about 5 inches ahead of it now. And that was to move the CG further forward because these wheels are a quarter of the weight of the plane. So it's sort of limited to how far forward I can get them. That's about as far as they're going to go. But it didn't seem to be an issue that the pivot point on the ground was forward. And that's probably because the whole CG moved forward as well, especially with this thing on here. So that wasn't a big deal. But anyway, I think I'll just upload this video now. It's again going to be a fairly short, boring video, but the weather's not looking too good, so I'm not going to be doing anything outside for the next week or so anyway, I think. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.